All right, good morning everybody. I hope that you guys are all ready for an exciting morning. Yeah? Coffee's not kicking in yet, is it? So, on behalf of the association and the 2019 Board of Directors, I would love to welcome you guys all to this incredible event that we have going on this morning. Big thank you to Michael and Marion's as well for a delicious breakfast. And I'm Chantal Traversy, for those of you that don't know me. I am one of the board of directors, or one of the directors, and the chair of the Professional Standards and Development Committee. And I'm also going to be the moderator for today's panel. So today, we have some amazing industry experts here. Then we're going to be exploring some of the industry trends, where they're going, what's going to be happening with some of the tech disruptors, and the future of the MLS. And we're also going to go over some of the incredible tools that we have for the BDAR members and how they can support us and better represent our clients and better serve our clients. So I'm going to introduce our panel that we have today. So first up, we have Paul McGowan. He's the leader in product management at Teranet. Hey, Paul. Next, we have Greg. You're going to have to tell me if your last name. Sorry.
Van Zuden.
Van Zuden. He's the Senior Product Training Specialist of Showing Time, and Showing Time provides online appointment showings, and they recently launched the Market Stats program, InfoSparks and Fast Stats, that we've added to our services. So, welcome. And we have Todd Taggart, who is the Regional Account Manager at CoreLogix, which is our Matrix MLS system provider. So, welcome. And last but not least, we have Charles Touay, the owner and founder of Prospects Mobile and the Matrix Integrated CRM. So, welcome. So, just a quick overview of what the plan is for this morning. So, each panelist, we've got a few questions for them to get things started. And then they're each going to do a quick little presentation on the services that they have for us. And then we're going to open the floor up to you guys, because we know that there's going to be quite a few questions probably coming from you about what's going on with the merger of the boards and the platforms that we have. And then any other questions that you have as well for these lovely gentlemen. So, let's get started. So, for each of you guys, I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to answer the questions. So, for the first one, let's get this started with all the changes in technology and organized real estate. What are you most closely paying attention to in the industry? And in particular, modern online real estate technology solutions. So Todd, with you being the market leader, what do you think is the future for the MLS systems?
Yeah, you bet. In our space, it's not only about the data and securing the data and keeping all the data accessible from not only you as agents, realtors, brokers, but also as consumers too. So what we have to do is look beyond that and say what's going to help complement the experience that not only you agents and the consumers are going to have. That's going to be involved with getting more assets and more data assets and leveraging that. The way we see that taking place is really on leading edge technologies with machine learning and artificial intelligence. So machine learning and AI is what we're really keeping a very close eye on, because that's the ability of technology being able to go in and take pertinent facts out of a property and then relate that through imagery. And we see that so much involved in your process, right? From the exterior of the home to interior of the home. Great example is being able to take drone imagery and the Matterport interior imagery and merge those together with machine learning and AI, where it can come up with square footage based off of that, roof conditions, insulation size, wall depths, all of those types of things that you guys can then take to the next level for your buyers and sellers. So machine learning, AI is one of the things that we're keeping a very close eye on because we can see how it's going to relate into our space and how we can serve it up to our customers.
Awesome. Interesting. And Charles, how about for you?
After that, what can I say? Every time he speaks first, I look stupid after him. So what I think, I mean, there's so much technologies that we've seen in the last few years, but they don't work together, right? So nothing is really integrated. So we've been focusing on that a lot, and we're keeping an eye on what's going on in the market, who does what, and we're trying to be on top and and be the best and integrate everything we've created with all of these tools like Matrix is working now with the mobile app, and it wasn't. So that we're doing this, and we're really focusing on that, making all those tools that you're using now, having them work together. So that's one thing. And the other focus we have is all the disruptors in the U.S., mostly in the U.S., some in Canada, but a lot of the big stuff is happening in the United States. And they want, what they want, or a lot of them want, is, excuse me, is take the agent out of the transaction. Excuse me. And I think they're mistaken. I think that it's a people business, and that will never do. I don't think it will be replaced ever. I think that agent using the technology will replace the agents that don't. Sorry. Sorry, I apologize. I'm focusing on helping agents staying in the middle, at the center of the transaction, not the opposite. That's really my focus.
Paul, how about you?
Looking at my notes, I'm like, okay, well, I can't say that anymore. I can't say that anymore. I think what's already been said is very similar to what we're looking at. I think, anything prop tech right now is really kind of keeping, us interested in new technology, new entrants into the market. And again, we're watching the U.S. market very closely. There's, billions of dollars in venture capital that's going into the market, and new startups and new ideas and new technology to empower agents and to make you more productive in your jobs. But there's a key point that was brought up already is these new technology is great, but what we're trying to understand is when you look at the data providers, when you look at the new solution providers, they can't all operate on their own individual islands. Collectively as an industry, we're trying to find ways to to work together. Collectively, we can do more together than we can apart. And I think it's how we bring together those similar perspectives, realizing that we can't all do it individually, and leverage each other's expertise, leverage each other's data assets, leverage each other's technology assets to be able to do great things together. And more specifically, things like predictive analytics. That's something that's I'm trying to keep an eye on a little bit. I haven't seen the traction that I would have expected, but hey, if you can leverage an application to tell you who's going to sell their house and when, and try to generate more leads through that intelligence and through that machine learning, those are the things that we're really trying to pay attention and figure out how we can play together along that real estate ecosystem.
It's nice to hear that there's lots of collaboration that's starting to happen here as well. And Greg, how about for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Always hard to go last. There was a few things that were said as well, but yeah, back to integration. That's definitely something. ShowingTime does work with CoreLogic a lot. We're always ongoing and partnering to integrate our system. We know that the agent-to-agent scheduling tool you're all familiar with has been integrated in Matrix for a while, so that's something that we're doing and ongoing optimizing. But something we're looking at in the state specifically is the consolidation of MLS systems. It's been dropping. So that's certainly putting pressure on technology companies and something that we're paying attention to in the States for sure.
If you guys think of ideas as well that are coming up, jot your notes down so you don't forget, so you can ask them at the end. So I'm getting lots of questions for you that. In addition to these great facts that you guys have just provided us, what technology or disruptions do you believe that specifically BDAR members need to be aware of so that we can be adaptable and be ready for the changes that you guys are mentioning that you're sort of seeing in the industry? Who wants to go first? Craig, you want to start that one?
Yeah.
Because I went to reverse order, so I don't have to take everybody's.
Yeah. I think what Charles was saying, that there's lots of technology that's coming about of, trying to take agents out of the transaction, where there's a few tech companies we've seen in the States. There's a thing called Zip Tours, where it's a brokerage that will take agents out of the showing process, and there's a company where people can actually sell their home directly to a website, and the website will then take that listing inventory and sell that, which is really interesting. So I think just understanding what's happening, what's out there, and then just really, once you know what's going on there, understanding your value proposition, how you can really combat that as an agent, because you know that that's the better experience for everybody.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of things that are top of mind for me. One, we were having a conversation earlier this morning around iBuyers. I really think that it's is a question of when, not if. You're seeing a lot of players in the U.S. that are leveraging this model, finding their niche in the market, and really offering consumers more choice in terms of how they want to go about selling their homes. I don't see iBuyers as something that's going to take over the marketplace. It's by any means going to displace the need for a real estate agent, but I do see it as a niche market that is going to come to Canada at some point in time. Especially with the announcement of Redfin coming to Canada. Zillow's been here for a while already. I think it's really just a matter of time before they they settle in and they bring these different models to market. You are going to need somebody with deep pockets that has kind of that financial background to be able to support that model. But again, I do see it as an option for consumers that are looking to relieve themselves of property quickly, efficiently, for the right price and the right level of service. So that's one thing that we're paying attention to. And the other piece that still relatively new in terms of our understanding is really around fractional property investment and how that plays out for new home buyers. How you can leverage that type of investment organization to sell part of that property back to that investment group, rent out the property in support of that. So it's still relatively new for us in terms of our understanding how it could play out in the marketplace, but it's definitely something that we're paying attention to.
Charles?
Todd. I feel like I'm going to say the same thing that as what I said earlier. It's changing, but it's staying this. It's just more of the same to me. So I think what you need to do as agents is you're going to have to change your offer. I think as those player iBuyers coming in the market and Redfin, you're just going to have to shift a little bit your service offer and be more expert. I think that the market is changing in Quebec. That we have 20% of FSBOs. And it's not something you're having here, but it's coming. And but you have to be ready for that 80% and serve them better, and make sure you're not losing more business to those companies that are buying homes or giving the tools to consumers to sell their homes by themselves. So I think it's just shifting and changing your offer, giving a better service, knowing more, understanding the homes, like the structures, and knowing more about all these things, so you can give a better service. And we're trying to help you doing that with Prospects Mobile. We give you stats and all these tools that you have on your phone, so you can be better and serve your client better. I don't know if it answers the question, but
That absolutely does. Thank
that's what I think we need to all do together.
Yeah, and rather than repeat everybody, because we totally agree from a CoreLogic standpoint. I mean, we concur with all of that. I mean, and we would break it down from a technical perspective and then a non-technical perspective. And from a technical perspective, what do you need to keep an eye on as regards to technology and/or disruptors? It's what's going to impact the consumer from the technical side. What media out there is going to drive the consumer behavior and reaction. That's what you need to keep an eye on and make sure that you're playing a part of that. And we kind of spoke about it, right? I mean, the whole imagery, the AI learning, that's coming from people that are doing drone imageries and doing these internal Matterport views that now a consumer can sit there in their home and have this experience, and this very, very rich experience. They want that, they expect that. They want to take it to the level that, you can now go in and explain to them what a smart home means and how they will benefit. And if they're already leveraging that, this is how I can show you how this will evolve in the 5 properties that you're looking at today. And if you want to buy this property and you want to turn it into a smart home, this is how it will take place. Because they're hearing about it all over the place. They're seeing it in Home Depot every day, right? How they're making their home into a smart home. So you need to be, I think, on top of that, right? You need to be leading that because it's going to take a role in your routine on how you show properties, how you sell properties, and that's what they're really sticky on right now, right? They want to know how do they get there, so they need help. And I think that you would play a great role in that. From a non-technical side, certainly agree with these guys, the disruptors, right? I mean, we've all said the names. I mean, Zillow's been around for a long time. The iHomes, the cash loans, all of those are going to play some part in the process moving forward. So it's a matter of being prepared, understanding it, and as Charles said, find your niche, right? There's only going to be a percentage about those that will take the market, but find your niche. Create those relationships, adopt and adapt to the technologies, and put them to your use.
That's great. Thank you very much for that. So that gives us just a quick overview, some great ideas, and some of the disruptions that we're going to start seeing, and how we can sort of morph and change and adapt to that. So very, very excited to hear about the services that we as Beta members receive from you guys. So we are going to have a quick presentation from each of you on that. And this will allow us to sort of bring it back to the community and to help serve our clients. So, Todd, we have you up first for this.
Excuse me. All right. Okay. Thanks, Chantel. So I've just got a slide here with some bullet points. I mean, I'm not going to take you through, let's learn how to search a property matrix. You guys all know how to do that, right? So the purpose here is to talk about what are we doing. First and foremost, that obviously is probably on your all's top of mind, is the latest agreement that you guys have done with Ortus and the collective merging together. And we said, originally the slide was 22 boards that are now coming together that are going to be served up on a single platform. There's actually 23 involved because Durham has also elected to come on board. Now they're going for a vote. I shouldn't probably step over those bounds. I think next week, Wednesday, they're voting on that. But the response I've heard is they're going to be joining into that group as well. So the point of it is you've got a phenomenal foundation of organizations here in Southern Ontario and beyond that will be on a single platform. Just to give you the insight on how we're going to do this, it's literally going to be a best of breed is what we're creating for you. We're going to be starting off this new platform with what we call a RISO standard data dictionary. So it's kind of the latest, greatest data standards out there that the industry is embracing. That's what we will start with, the kind of foundation. And then we will build into it the best of breed that came out of Ortus, the best of breed that came out of the collective, and that will be what we're calling right now internally the NewCo system. It's going to be phenomenal. All of the partnerships that these gentlemen have talked about as well, those are all the things that we expect to be part of your core services in NewCo. So we're really excited about that. It's going to raise the bar in Southern Ontario for other organizations on what their members have access to. I mean, you guys really are raising the bar, and we're excited about it. We're thrilled to continue the partnership. You guys should be very proud of it as well. You're really breaking some new ground, and it's going to be phenomenal. Timing on that, but again, since we just got that agreement signed literally yesterday, got fully executed on both sides. We had predicted a year-end launch date. There's no reason why we will meet that or even beat that. So I would expect sometime in the late fall, sometime Q4 is when we're going to be testing and reviewing that new platform. So all great stuff, and looking forward to it there. The benefits that's going to provide you, like I said, not only just the single access into a database that will stretch from the eastern side of Toronto all the way over to the western part of Ontario, is very powerful. It's not that you're doing business from there, but if you have a lead, you have someone asking questions, a consumer, you now can serve them directly, right? And be able to pull that up that information. The other products that will be beneficial from that NewCo platform, besides the prospects program that we'll be utilizing on the mobile side of things, which is, like Charles said, it's got some phenomenal integrations, and I don't want go rain on his thing if he's going to be speaking about that, but we're very excited about that partnership. We're doing some great things already with TerraNet, with data integrations, and we hope to do more. So we hope to, again, improve that situation. Instinet Forms, your new web forms that is getting ready to launch this week, I believe, in Ontario. That's getting replaced with the new Instinet Forms. We've already had a long partnership with them, and that will be a phenomenal advantage for you guys. With the NewCo system, not only will those forms have the integration where you can populate the data onto them, we will also have what we call a listing upload feature where your listing forms will be in web forms like they've been before. You can fill them out in web forms, hit a button, and it will upload it into Matrix, into the add edit function. So you don't have to duplicate entry of that data. Right? Yeah. Good. It benefits for you. It should streamline your process, make it faster, easier for you to conduct that business. We're also adding a couple additional tools out of that Instinet bundling, and that is Authentisign. So electronic signatures will be part of the NewCo offering as a core service, as well as broker tools. So you'll get a kind of a midline dashboard called Transaction Desk with Instinet. But with NewCo, your brokers will have the ability of having a broker toolkit and dashboard where you can help and monitor all the transactions that are taking place in your organization as well through that platform. So really, again, raising the bar on it, doing some good stuff. Our vision, as far as the MLS system, boy, we've talked a lot about a lot of cool things up here this morning already. There's no question. And again, I think Charles hit it on it when he talked about integration. CoreLogic's vision is really, we want to stay focused on the core systems. We got kind of 4 main food groups that we will serve moving forward. That is Matrix as our MLS platform, Realist, which is kind of our tax platform down in the US, Clarity, which is the security component on the front side, and then Trestle, which is now our data distribution side, at the back end. Those are our 4 competencies that we feel that's going to serve our customers best. Everything else, and there's a ton of evolving technologies out there, including the ones we talked about up here, we want to integrate with. We want to have strong, deep integration with those. Let these guys focus, because they're the professionals in their market space, let them focus on that. We'll just find a great way to talk and work with them to bring it up and serve it within the MLS system. And that's what we want. We don't want to try to fill out every widget and gadget and service that exists. Let's let somebody who's really expert in that area do it, and we'll find a way to interface with them. So that's kind of where we're moving forward on that. Security and data, like I said, that 4th food group that we'll have is called Trestle. It's our new data distribution platform. NewCo will be utilizing that as well when it comes on board. That is a platform that is being adopted across all of North America. It supports this RISO data standard. And the RISO data standard, just as for you, what's the benefit about that? It's setting up the industry that all of the vendors use a data standard. Why that's so important is that, all the people that come and utilize your data, from a broker's IDX website to a showing time, showing service that comes and pulls it, if they could get every system out there to use the same set of fields with the same set of names, when they come in and they pull it, think how much more efficient they can be, all right? How much more accurate they can be in that. That's what the national push is, exactly on that. And that's what Trestle is going to be doing. It'll be able to serve up that data in that RISO dictionary standard in a couple different ways. Not only just the traditional, where they would have to download all the data from your system, but also via a web API, which makes it more efficient, more secure as well. So those are a couple of components that we're proud of and that you guys will be taking advantage of. Other CoreLogic investments. Upstream prospects, certainly, we continue to form these relationships. Upstream is a component down in the States. It's just one of those other topics out there. It was previously supported by NAR, where the brokers kind of demanded, they said, look, you know what, associations, MLSs, you do an okay job, but we have greater needs of where we want to push our data to. And so they created this platform, or we're trying to create it, called Upstream. It's kind of failed, and recently they kind of fired their old technology provider. They came to us, to CoreLogic, and said, hey, CoreLogic, would you be interested? And then they talked to a lot of other companies, don't get us wrong, but they selected us to be their new technology provider. And the reality of that purpose that they were trying to provide out to the group was, how can they provide the brokers a tool that will allow them to distribute data in the ways that they need to do as well, outside of maybe the MLS. MLS still needs to be the heart and soul of that, But how we're going to do that is white labeling Trestle. So it's going to be a Trestle platform utilizing the same standards, all the same tools that you will be utilizing, but they'll be able to, because there's data elements that you don't put into the MLS as a broker that you might need to share out to corporate, right? From a commission standpoint, from a back office standpoint. Those other fields from a media standpoint. Those need to be shared out. This is going to be a tool that will allow them to do so. So those are some of the kind of the new investments that have been spoken to out there about within the media area. And then my wrap up there, current real estate ecosystem. All I can say is, we're proud to be one of the leading providers out there. It's changing all the time, folks, as you know, and a lot of the great topics that have come up, and that's why you're here today, is it's ever evolving. So we realize we need to stay nimble. I mean, we've got over 810,000 realtors using Matrix today. 810,000 across North America. So we're a big boat out there, right? Serving a lot of associations, a lot of members. But at the same time, we recognize we've got to be nimble, we've got to be fast, we've got to be evolving with the technologies. Stay focused on what we do best, our core MLS services, what we talked about, and let's make sure we partner with great technology providers out there to serve the ancillaries. So, that's it.
That is some great news about the agreement that's been signed and timelines and all the other services that you guys are adding on with that. And everything that you guys are paying attention to. So next up we have Charles from Prospects, who's going to give us a quick recap on what it is that they're doing. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Technology. So, I want to tell you what we've been working on, and I'm giving a training this afternoon on, this is not the future, it's now. I'm going to tell you what we've been working on, and it's ready. You're going to have it, I'm hoping today. I'm waiting for a text message telling me that it's working. So it's all, you all, in real estate, we say location, location, location. We say integration, integration, integration. And we're focusing on that. So what I wanted to do is have the CRM. Who's using the CRM? I think it's fairly new. We still have to get the word out and teach you how to work it. You guys have the best CRM, and it's a member benefit. So you should have a look at prospects.com, log in and try it. But it's a CRM where you can manage your contacts and your listings, but all those contacts are now synchronized with the mobile app. Who's using it on Prospects Mobile? Cool. So you have contacts there, but now those contacts are flowing with me. They're going in Matrix and in the CRM. So you enter a contact in Prospects, it goes in the app, goes in Matrix, and vice versa. You can change a phone number in Matrix, and it's going to go right into Prospects Mobile and right into the CRM. So that was a lot of work, and we're the first. It's never been done before, having a mobile app that syncs with the MLS system and a CRM. And you'll be the very first in North America. Not kidding. Barrie is the first market. Thank you, Julia. So there's a lot more. One of the things that we're trying to come up with all these new technology, but the very basic is, and Todd was mentioning the consumer. We have to focus on the consumer. Do you guys see my slides or?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Oh, where is it? I can't see it. Technology. That's awesome. I didn't know. All right, so okay, good. So you can see contacts are flowing, blah, blah, blah. So I just said, I didn't know you guys could see my screen. So, but let me just skip a couple slides here. So you're emailing listings with the mobile app. I'm hoping, anyway. Then you're emailing listings with Matrix. But it's two different experiences. Your consumer, or your clients are getting two different reports. They're lost. They're going there, they're saving properties, they're getting emails from another source, another tool, and they're all lost. So if we want to provide them with a really good experience, we have to sync all that. And now this is done as well. So when you email, when they go in the client portal and they save listings, you're going to have all that in the app. So you're going to go in your contact and see exactly what they've been up to. So you won't have to go back at Matrix to know what they've been saving. And if they do something in your client app, you can create your own consumer app with Prospects Mobile. And they're going to be able to do the same thing. Your clients will search listings, save listings, and it's all synchronized with Matrix. Seamless experience for them. That's going to change. That's really going to change. You will serve them a lot better with those tools. And it's basically you have nothing to do. We've done the work. It's just going to be like super easy for them. So that's awesome. You will love that. And again, it's synchronized with the CRM as well. So wherever you are in those 3 tools, you'll see everything and it works together now. Excuse me. It's the air conditioning. It's killing me. So again, that's the mobile app that you can create. Who has created a consumer app with Prospects? Okay, for the others, if you don't know how to do it, what time is my training, Julia? 1 o'clock? You should totally come at 1 o'clock. You want to see that. You want to use that tool. If you want to compete with Redfin and Zillow, you need to use that feature. You need at least to be aware of it and know how it works. So we've been working, the last year has been on this, having those tools working together. The entire team at Prospects, we 35 people working just on that. And it's going to make your life a lot easier. So that's Prospects. Thank you.
I'll take it. Thank you so much, Charles. Now, Greg's going to give us a presentation on showing time.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Some great speakers here today. I'm going to talk about kind of what we were referencing before. What we're always trying to do with Showing Time is just build tools that are going to empower you as agents to be local experts and ways to bring you closer together with your clients. So I'll talk about some of the features that are currently available to you, and then some of the stuff that we're building in the future that's going to be speaking towards that as well. So. Here are some of the things that we're going to touch on. And we have kind of already spoken about a few of these already, so I won't recap those. But some of the things that are currently available to you already, I think we talked about, I think I'm missing one. There we go. InfoSparks and FastStats. Is anybody logged in Matrix and use those at all? Liking that? Okay, very good, very good. So that's a new member benefit for you. InfoSparks is a really nice way you can slice and dice market data, find something that really showcases your knowledge of a certain market segment, and then you can take that, you can print it out as a report, you can publish it on social media, you can embed that report in your website, and it will refresh live in the future, so you can just do it one time. So that's just a way that's going to really help you showcase your knowledge to your current customers, clients, and future ones as well. Those FastStats reports are really great too. I really recommend going in there. There's a lot of really nice PDF reports that you can run, showcasing a particular geographic area with really interesting market insights that you can use. So that's one member benefit already available to you. On the showing side of things, is anybody here using Showing Time scheduling, that agent-to-agent scheduling tool? A little bit? Okay. So that's already integrated in Matrix, something that we've done together. But there's great tools in there. You have customizable feedback templates, so whenever you have a showing on a listing, you can customize the questions that go out for feedback, and then use that and publish it to your seller, keeping you in constant communication with your seller. Text messaging ability is really nice for your seller. They're able to just easily confirm it to client requests. Listing activity report is something that's really nice that will give you credit for all the great work that you're doing for your seller already, consolidating all of that feedback and all of those marketing activities and showings in there for you. So something that you should be taking advantage of if you haven't already. Showing cart, building a buyer tour is something that's really great that you can do with your showing experience. And then you can take that tour with the directions and then push that to your buyer. and then your buyer has a record of that upcoming tour that you're doing. So that's a really nice feature that you can take advantage of. A few things as well, showing complete notifications, making it easier for your seller. If they leave the house, they can know when to come back to the home afterwards and that sort of thing. So a lot of really good member benefits already available to you. Some things that are coming soon, something in the immediate future, in the next few months or so, is the seller experience. So currently sellers already have the ability to receive a mobile app where they can stay in the loop of all the activity on the home, but that's going to be expanded into a new mobile experience with communication with your seller. They can also log in on a website as well, see all the feedback that's available to them, reports, statistics, so that's going to really bring you closer together with communication with your seller. Something that we're looking to do in the future is expand that on the buyer side as well. Create an online portal to bring you closer with your current buyer. You can invite them into your network, and then they'd be able to choose listings. Then you would be able to schedule them together, and just keep communication ongoing with your buyers. So it's something that we're doing as well in terms of that whole My Home experience, integrating you closer with your clients. Offer management is something that we're looking to do too. I don't have too much information on that, but that's something that's coming in the future that will be really helpful for you as well. We're going to be revamping our mobile app and web applications in the near future too, so that's going to be giving you additional functionality and things that you can do within the mobile application and the web application. And then market stats. I know we just launched with market stats and InfoSparks, but we're going to keep doing things there and enhancing those member benefits as well. You know, in the future, we're looking to use ways to leverage your showing data to create really unique insights for you, and also some reports that might be helpful talking about price with your sellers as well. So, really unique insights that would only be available to you with those two tools. And yeah, those are some of the things that we're looking at doing, trying to empower you as the local experts. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. And then we have Paul. He's going to explain some of the stuff that TerraNet does for us as well.
Perfect. Morning, everybody. Thanks for having me. All right, so I will jump right in. So I'm sure all of you are very familiar with GeoWarehouse, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the features and activities of GeoWarehouse. But there were a couple of things that I wanted to focus on today. One, within the product, some of the things that we're working on to enhance the overall experience, and a little broader in terms of what TerraNet's looking to do in the future, not just with GeoWarehouse, but within the real estate ecosystem itself. So there's kind of two things that I really just wanted to focus on specifically this morning. And the first one is really about the access to the information outside of the core elements that you're getting today. So when you think about a property, when you're searching a property, obviously you type in your property, you find the location, you get your core information that's associated with that property report. But behind that information that's served up immediately, there's a lot of additional information that's not too far away from you, and it's very accessible throughout the GeoWarehouse store. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the access to parcel registers and instrument images. So if you're not using these today, what you can get from a parcel register and instrument image, it's really the details about a mortgage, about a lien, about easements on the property. You're going to get all the the details of each individual instrument or each individual charge that's been registered against the property. And you can pull that right through the store. Sometimes it's a little confusing as to, well, how do I get it? How do I know what's available? There's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can see this little purple box right to the side. That's kind of tied to every property that has this information. And once you pull that parcel register, within there you'll see different instrument images. You want to know the registered mortgage amount, the interest rate, the lender, the signing individuals. All that information is readily available to you. So you can get a better perspective of the individuals that you're working with, what's been registered against the property, are there liens that you should know about, are there easements that you should know about, so you're not coming up with any surprises towards the end of a deal when your lawyer calls you and mentions things that you just weren't aware of. Other information I'm sure you're all very well aware of is the structural information. So we partner with MPAC. We provide all kinds of different reports that are available to you, from AVM reports to structural information, beds, baths, comparable reports. Again, all this information is tied within the store. You can access that by going directly to the store itself or by some of the quick links that we have to the side. So again, there's all that information that you don't necessarily have to rely solely on the homeowner, that you can use this to help define and prepare your listings up front. Another great thing that we're continually trying to evolve and provide access to is the ability to pull any sort of plans or surveys that are associated with the property. So as you kind of scroll down your property, if we have any sort of registered plans or surveys in the database, what again you'll see is what the plan is, the plan number, and a link to be able to get access to that. So you can see that original document, you can see the original plan, and again, even some of these plans would have additional things like easements that would be able to be called to your attention in advance of negotiating any sort of details with your buyers or sellers. These are an example of some of the impact reports that are available to you. If you're not aware, I imagine most of you are. But again, there's a variety of information that we work with additional partners. So right now you'll find impact, you'll find title, you'll find surveys, you'll find plans. We're also working with other third-party content providers. We're looking to add things like catchment data. How do you know exactly what school from elementary to high school is going to be found within this property? What jurisdiction do they fall in? And how do you understand the neighborhood if you're not completely familiar with it? So, stay tuned. You're going to see a lot more of that detailed information also start to come available within the store to really get a better perspective on that neighborhood, the amenities in that neighborhood, and what you may be able to assess and find. And again, there's two easy ways to do it. One within the individual report. There's also that little shop button at the top that you can directly access any of our reports, any of our partner reports, and any enhanced information above and beyond the property detail reports that you're seeing today. The other thing I just wanted to call to your attention is, the relatively new comparable search tool. How many are you using the Polygon search capabilities within the tool? Perfect. When it really comes down to sometimes, buyers have very specific areas in terms of which area they want to live in, understanding what's been sold in that specific area. I don't want anything west of this street, I don't want anything north of here. So it gives you the ability to really hone in your research and understand what's sold within that specific pocket of interest for you or for your buyers or sellers. So it can really kind of navigate. It can be as small as it can be as big as you want. You can put different filters on that to help with you kind of navigating what's been sold in the past and to help with your presentation materials. One of the things that I also wanted to bring attention around market insight and market analysis. This is one feature that's a little buried in GeoWarehouse, and looking forward, you're going to be able to see a lot more of this up front and be able to navigate things like heat maps. What's selling, what are the average prices, what's the turnover rate, what's the growth rate in terms of those average prices. Is anybody familiar with these? I'm just curious of who. This is something that is available to you today, but it's only found when you actually build a client report. So if you were to go in and build a client report and you select this as an option, it is provided when you print that full piece out. So what we're trying to do is, extract that, that great intelligence, try to bring more insight, more awareness to things like this, so you can use these in presentation materials, and you can overlay it on the map itself when you're starting to navigate through different areas and through, different pockets. It's always great to start a search by understanding, well, what's the average price of a house in this geographical area? Can my clients afford here? Well, I know what their budget is, but now I can understand, what areas of interest I really need to be honing in on. So again, this is available today. It's not necessarily in a place that's as usable as we'd like it to be, but these are the types of things that we're looking to enhance and to bring to you, so it's front and center, so it's part of the initial search and activity when you log into GeoWarehouse. From an insight standpoint, this is relatively new for Terranet. On a quarterly basis, we produce a Terranet Market Insight Report. There's different ways that you can get access to this. I put a link up here for you, the geowarehouseblog.ca. If you're not already following it, on a quarterly basis, we launch a report. We've talked about things like, millennials and their home buying activities. We've talked about the impact of private lending in the real estate market. Who's actually leveraging private lenders? What markets are most active? What's the value and the amount of mortgages within private lenders? So we look at demographics, we look at who's buying, we look at market insights in terms of shifting, prices and attributes within the market. And it's a great little report that you can use yourself, you can share with your clients, just to be aware of what's happening within the Ontario marketplace. And just kind of forward-looking, I wanted to kind of end off with a few things in terms of what we'd already talked about a little bit. We talked about data. Teranet, sits on a lot of data, and it really comes around to the point of how collectively do we better share this data. When you start looking at what Barry's been a part of, and kind of the collaboration between different boards and bringing MLS closer together, it really is breaking down those regional barriers and giving you a broader perspective of the market and sharing that data. But there's more data outside of just what you're going to find in an MLS system. And you start to think about what's all the data that I need to effectively do my job. Sure, it's MLS data, but it's assessment data, it's tax data, it's public record data, it's catchment data, it's rental, it's consumer, it's commercial. There are a lot of different sources, there are a lot of different players that can contribute and bring more to the table. When you think about all this data and who owns it, this is where I was coming back to talking about how do we do more together than as opposed to apart? How do we find ways to better integrate and leverage our strengths with one another to bring more value to the market? You put all this data together, you find ways to connect it, to talk to one of it. Now you've got a great engine, you've got great fuel to better enable MLS providers, to create more insightful industry tools or consumer portals, to enable individual brokerages to leverage that data to create customizable messages based on the information in their local market. So it's really the combination of how do the data providers, the industry providers, the solution providers come together, leverage our strengths, and create more value add for the market as a whole. One slide I thought I'd throw in there just at the end is understanding how everybody's also trying to get a piece of the pie. Everybody's trying to understand, how do I get closer to the transaction? And we're seeing a lot of this even from the banks. This is a great example that Meridian just launched, where they're trying to get involved and engage with consumers right out of the gate, where they're trying to help facilitate the home buyer experience, connect individuals with realtors, with mortgage brokers, help them find their home based on the intelligence. So you've got data players, you've got existing industry players that are trying to reach outside of their traditional core competencies and offer more value to end users. So I think it's also something to keep in mind and to be aware of how everybody is trying to get closer to that transaction, trying to get more of that transaction, and be engaged with the consumer right from the beginning or even before they decide to make that transaction purchase. So I thought I'd kind of close with that as just an example of how the market continues to evolve and how people like some of our lenders and credit unions are trying to also get closer to the transaction. And that's it for me.
Thank you very much, Paul, as well. So I definitely got some good key points out of all of this. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well and that you got some good takeaways. Some of the stuff that I had no idea that we even had access to was the reports where you can go in and you can pull the liens. I thought you had to wait for a lawyer to get that, so that's fabulous having that right at our fingertips. There's so many different resources that we have as well. And it's amazing, and sort of the same message that I'm hearing throughout all today is that yes, tech's coming, there's definitely going to be a disruption, there's going to be changes and advancements, but it really is, it's all about the service that we provide to our clients and making sure that we are there, we're communicating with them, and we're staying in touch with them, and then really providing them as much information as we possibly can. So that's tons of amazing info that we have and resources literally right at our fingertips that we all have access to. The other thing, the board is fabulous, all the staff here. If you guys have questions about anything, ask them, reach out. They know this stuff inside and out and they can walk you through it. So it's perfect. Ask a fellow realtor as well and start working together and cooperate and work together to try and understand some of the stuff that we have available. So, going to open the floor up now to questions. So if anybody has any questions for these guys, it's good.
It's about the integration, because I have to be on two boards, and the stats, like I really want to use them, the ones you have, but they're never accurate, because they only show the variable stats, where most of my cells are in an overlap area that were on the other MLS system,
Oh, I see.
right? And it's like, it's just, we've all been patiently waiting for them to be merged, so that the, like Prospect Mobile, again, it's, I don't use it because it won't be accurate enough. I actually have to.
You mean for the stats?
Yes, and even for like, I have to, right now, enter all my contacts to
Two
the
different
Bears
systems.
board, the
Yeah.
Soka board, and everyone gets all
Yeah,
frustrated
but
with
when
that.
they merge,
We're all
the merge
waiting,
occurs, then
we've
it's
been
all gonna
waiting
be.
forever, that's all.
See, we're only gonna pass, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
well, there's
it's,
a responsibility, you know, and I know sometimes they will, I'll just send out a very district stats, they can use the past stats, but
Mhm.
it's really inaccurate, so, you know, then I have to send a separate little email, say, okay, now here's something here. And you actually have to compile them yourself, because that merger just,
So with the question
Yeah.
then, would it be whenever the boards merge together, whenever we start collaborating all together, is all this information gonna be available in one
so
spot?
which, yeah, and then.
for all the data across the
I
boards?
guess exactly for you, so when they do merge, what is gonna be the actual CoreLogics, or Ordis, or is it gonna have a new name?
Yeah, that's a great question, and to your point, precisely, that is, you know, that is an underlying benefit that will come out of what we're calling internally, we're calling it NewCo. Just because the combined group hasn't come up with a public name for it, but behind the scenes, we're calling the merger of Ordis and Collective called NewCo. When NewCo comes together on that platform, all of those issues that
They
you've
use
had,
all the tools.
it all goes away because, you know, all of these products that we integrate with, now that market stats is now based off of that combined single database, so you can cut and paste it or slice and dice it any way you want. If you want, there won't be any more over markets or boundaries where I can't see data over there because it was in a different system. It's all in one system.
And, yeah,
Absolutely. So all of those issues go away.
And when they're merged, like right now, it's in addition to that, we have to pay 2 board fees.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Are both, when you merge those two, are both of them gonna have the prospects and,
All of these service providers are all our integration partners that will be part of NewCo. Absolutely.
perfect.
And then some. NewCo, like I said, besides these, there's even additional tools that you will now have access to as part of NewCo. So the contacts, and just one other thing, because I know where we always get hit with it, and I know, I feel for you guys, when you're dealing with your consumers, because you always say it, but you keep driving down, what's the consumer experience? When they come to you and they say, well, I just saw a listing over there for sale, and you're like, well, it's not in my MLS, right? That all goes away, right? As long as it's one of these two organizations that we are migrating together, right? If it's someone that's not part of that organization, then you still have to, which shall be unnamed, then you still have to deal with that, right? But as it relates to the collective and Ordis, absolutely, that really is a phenomenal benefit and quite the value that you'll be able to do.
Well, I think your system's better, the Berry board. I can't even call them, because they both have the same logins and everything, the Ordis, which is Berry board, or Logic.
CoreLogic, yeah.
Yeah.
The scope is at the bottom.
The collective.
It's definitely collective, it is better.
So, yeah.
So like-
And again, the NewCo, as you imagine, will be the best of breed of both of those platforms.
Anyone else with a question? Lindsay?
The RESO standards that you're talking about, are those being adopted across industries or just inside real estate?
It's predominantly, it's for the real estate space, that real estate vertical. So any vendors that deal with MLSs, brokers, agents, you know, technology providers, they're the ones that are adopting that standard as well. So we're being kind of the foundation of that, creating it, supporting it, and then now they can come in and take advantage of this nice consistency of that standard.
Yes.
Oh, the quarterly market report,
Yeah.
is that out now?
Yeah, we just recently launched one 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Where do you
I can send, we can send the URL, grattlesblog.ca. Yeah.
You subscribe to that?
You can, yeah, you can subscribe. We have an ability to subscribe, so it can be automatically sent to you, or we always just post it on the blog as well. Yeah.
I have a question. Just sort of going through my brain, what some of the stuff that you do when you're working with a client or the buyer. And I don't know if this question's directed at probably you or not. But is anybody working on a platform where you can include, you're working with a buyer, they want to know about a specific property, you're on the MLS or you're on Geo, and they want to know what the zoning is, so they don't have to go to the website.
That's
Is it under conservation authority jurisdiction? You have to go to another site, like the Simcoe County Integrated Planning site, or is it like that?
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of different places that we have to go to gather information, and I'm just wondering if somehow that can be integrated, or if anybody's working on that. The top of rapid mapping, which is on the interactive and interactive site. That's also useful in the organization. All that stuff. So there's still a lot of places that we have to go, and I'm wondering if there's somebody working on that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of conversations that are happening right now. We understand that nobody wants to have to jump from, one place to, 6 or 7 other places to get, the core information that you really need. So, from our perspective, we are having those conversations. How do we centralize that information? How do we bring in the most pertinent information? How do we make sure that it is all in one centralized location, whether it's something that we build ourselves or, similar with Todd saying, how do we find ways to integrate, to be able to provide access to that information in that kind of one-stop shop? So I think those conversations are happening, all the time. I would say that there's quite a few of those conversations happening right now in terms of what else can we do to streamline that experience, to make that information more readily available. So,
Now, one time you used to have, or you were promoting, the ability for us to search the insurance claims on property.
yeah.
Is that not available anymore?
It's not available at this point. We're always looking for additional feedback in terms of what else, what other parameters you would like to search by, but that's not something we offer right now, but we're
I
always,
thought you were working on
not at the moment.
We usually use it.
this for a short time. And then it disappeared.
Zoning would be far more useful.
Yeah.
For every city and township. Not only that.
Absolutely.
Especially with cottage,
Mhm.
short road, allowances.
Well, I think that that's just-
Anybody else?
Oh, no, there's one.
Ooh, Sue's got another one, sorry.
Well, also, I mean, this is for third parties coming in and using the service, but new builds. Of course, that's another place you have to go and search the internet for anything that's new built in the area. And then if there's a platform where they can share the information with us too, that's also useful.
Yeah, there isn't really one that exists today. From a land registry stuff, we don't get a lot of visibility until the individual properties are registered from the village. We're trying to look at how do we better interact with builders, even the surveying companies, to understand how land is being developed, how new build is being taken place, so that we can get line of sight to that in advance of the property actually being formally registered with the land registry. So, those conversations are ongoing. There isn't anything that I can say that will be launching in the immediate future, but we're trying to find ways to work closer with, the development of land and how that kind of transposes through the cycle.
Luke?
Kind of on the same lines, but specifically with Prospect Mobile, I think a lot of us find it to be this, the simplest, easiest method to access MLS data when we're up and about, so thank you for that. But there is some issues with it where the data there is incomplete or sometimes inaccurate. Is there any future plans or soon to upgrade the data we can see in Prospect Mobile?
So we sync with your database every 10 or 15 minutes. And
I don't mean
it's,
timelines, I mean, this field that doesn't show or things it doesn't reference, or that there's the information we can't access?
Honestly, we should have all the data in there. So we get all the data through the red speed. If it's not there, if it doesn't show, you should let us know, and we can look into it and add it.
So I can give you an example right now. I can pull up a listing on my phone that,
Yeah.
first of all, this part might be a glitch, but the heading that comes up when you pull listing says listed yesterday. If you scroll down, even in that same listing, it says it was 13 days ago. I think the status was changed yesterday, and it's popping up that listed yesterday flag. So that
Gotcha,
is
okay,
kind of a red herring.
that's definitely a bug.
But more, and this is where I see the data field, so it was listed yesterday, but it is a relist, and if I log into Matrix, they'll show me that the cumulative days on market was 58 days, not 12.
Not one day.
And we're not seeing that information in Prospect, so then we have to then go double check the information we've seen, so we'll tell the client, it was listed 2 days ago, no, it's been a month, right? So we have to then go double check all these information
Yeah.
in Prospects.
I would need to check and have the MLS number and dig deeper into that and try to understand why it did that. I know that we've added the history. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see if it's been listed before. I don't think we get notified through the red speed if it's relisted. I don't think we know. I don't think we have a way to actually know that stuff. But I have to look at it and see what we can do with CoreLogic, because we get the data from their servers, so we need to see how we can.
Another similar point.
Do a better
about
job.
Board listings, we get many listings that are put onto the Barrie Real Estate Board, but they're from a non-member. That information shows in CoreLogic, it doesn't show in Prospect Mobile. So we're not able to figure out who's listed.
But it's in CoreLogic.
It is.
You have it in Matrix, but we don't have it.
Correct. In CoreLogic, it'll say the name of the office and the age who listed, even if they're a non-member, so there's a phone number we can call them showing.
Yeah.
In Prospect Mobile, it just says non-member, no phone number, no matter. So we can have to log out, log in, find out whose listing it is, so we can go show it.
Gotcha. Well, that's really important. Like, we need. Did you call prospects for that?
Yeah, we don't want this.
Did you?
Luke, did you call them? At all call
Did you call
prospects?
tech support?
No.
No. We need to know these things. Like, those are like small details that sometimes it can be fixed in an hour. So I really need. I have to write this down.
I did.
You
Julia's
did,
got it.
Julia? Yeah, if you
Let
have
us
issues
know.
like
We-
this,
we-
let us know. These are, talk to the board and they'll call us, and we're very responsive, and we try to fix things as fast as we can. Sometimes, if we can't, we'll call CoreLogic and they'll help us out to fix the issue. But we get data from them, so we have to let them know.
No finger pointing going on here, Brian.
It's always their fault.
Stacy?
I just wanted to say something regarding prospects. I have called the tech line or whatever on several occasions. Best service, amazing, quick, so I just wanted,
Thank you.
yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Anybody else have any other questions?
I guess, Todd, are you presenting your product to Fred?
Am I presenting the product to Fred? I can share with you what we know, which is, the rumors, the TRED is going out for RFP. They are going to be looking at vendors, new technologies. We've been promised that we will participate in that process, but we haven't seen anything come up yet.
Like on the board?
So,
Yeah, there you go, you're nominated. Anybody else? Well, this was easy. All right, so thank you very much, everybody, for coming out as well. Thank you so much to our panelists
Thank you.
for sharing your expertise with us. And as Charles mentioned, he's doing a presentation on prospects. There's tons of awesome things that you can do with that app. I know I use it regularly with clients as well, and they absolutely love it. So stick around, and that's at 1 p.m. And then for those of you that haven't visited the facility yet, go take a wander around. We have this incredible facility that we can use that's for our services. So take a peek around there. And we also have, hold on a second. We also have Ernie Vance on site tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. And he's going to be doing his presentation as well. So come out for that. If you're not registered, you can register with your message of the day or go on to my beater. And if you guys ever have questions, or if you have any suggestions, or if you just want to know some more information on something, contact the staff. They're here for us to help us out with everything, and they're absolutely fantastic at getting back and at relaying any information that we need. So I hope that everybody has an awesome day. Thank you so much for coming out, and enjoy the spring market.